What's up, everybody? B Squad. It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with the review for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 5, the reunion, part 3, you guys. Before we do go ahead and get into it, if you guys were watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it, you guys. And with that out of the way, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the reunion part 2, you guys. Shall we? Okay, you guys. So before I go ahead and just get into the review, I do want to say something. I do want to say first and foremost, shout out to everybody who subscribes to my channel from watching last night's live with the Whether You Like It or Not panel. Thank you to everybody who subscribed from that. Also, thank you to everybody who watched last night from my channel. You know, my subscribers, thank you guys for coming in and supporting. But before we get into that, you guys, I just want to say one thing. Here's, with my channel, I don't have a problem if we disagree on something, we have a difference of opinion on things. That's fine. But I always want, like, the same way if y'all get in the comments and disagree with something that I say, that's fine. I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to say anything negative towards you guys. It's going to be all love, right? And I don't have a problem with that. And I want the same in return from me and anybody that's on my channel. As like everybody that was on my channel, comes on my channel, they're guests. I asked them to come over. So the same respect that you guys have for me, please have it for them as well, you guys. Because something happened last night in the live chat, and I didn't see it when it happened, but I saw Really B's reaction towards it, and there was, all I could do was be apologetic for it, because that was something I was not expecting to see in my chat. Because I don't I may joke about certain things, but I don't go that far and talk about people's, I don't do that. I don't, that just, it bothered me. And that's part of the reason why this live is late too. That's part of the reason why we're late with this live, because that's sat on me all day and I couldn't really let it go. So I had to go to work. I went to work today, and at work I was just able to just do my job. Actually, I wasn't even able to do my job today because of some other stuff. But yeah, you guys, when you come over here, we can have a difference of opinion. We can disagree with each other, and that's fine. But let's not, things of that nature. Let's not do that, because I don't do that. I'm not doing that to y'all, and I don't want y'all to do that to anybody on my platform. And the thing is, with the Whether You Like It or Not panel, I'm getting to know Really B. I'm getting to know Ya. Belle and I, we communicate with each other, DMs, comment section. So Belle and I have a little bit of a relationship with each other. Scotty and I have a relationship with each other. Me and him DM each other. I have his phone number. So I'm building friendships with them too. And that made me just feel away last night. So going forward, let's be respectful of everybody, because y'all know that the Whether You Like It or Not panel, it rotates. So it's going to rotate back to my channel at some point. So let's be respectful of everybody on the panel, including myself. And that's all I got to say. Now let's go ahead and get into Salt Lake City. And if you are cool with that, what I said, then we fine. If you have a problem with it, then you can, I'm going to say this loud and clearly. If you have a problem with what I said, then you can easily unsubscribe, you guys. It's just that simple. But when it comes to everybody, when it comes to me and people on my platform, and these are relationships that I'm trying to build with people, trying to build more friendships, let's just be respectful. But again, let's get into Salt Lake City, shall we? So this is part 3 of the reunion. So the reunion is over. Season 5 was a great season. I have enjoyed season 5 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. The girls gave, the reunion gave. So the reunion opens up, and we have Brittany joining the stage. And Brittany was like, "I'm not going to get an entrance." I was like, "Brittany, you weren't that like you're interesting, but not that interesting to get an interest, girl. If you don't bring your ass out here on this stage, like, come on, come on." Oh, also, you guys, a little channel update real quick because I didn't get to mention this. So you guys know, well, you guys don't know, but I will be going to Atlanta tomorrow, hanging out with Scotty for his birthday. So Ready to Ready to Love premieres tomorrow, and I'm hoping that I can get the video up for you guys at least by Saturday. That is the goal. And then later tonight, after the traders go off, I'm gonna come back and go live for the traders. So if you guys watch me for the traders, definitely come back for that after the episode goes off. And yeah, so Brittany, when she came in, Brittany is hella thirsty because when she had her hands up when Andy was introducing her, clapping and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh my god, y'all created a monster when it came to Brittany. Y'all have created a monster. So Andy asked Brittany if she and Jared are still in a relationship, right? Brittany says that they broke up, but at the bottom of the screen, it says that Brittany and Jared they once again went official on Instagram, which I actually saw that I actually had saw that they went official during the show's airing because the lady was also saying like we saw you we saw y'all together, like y'all were kissing, y'all were doing this, right? So Jared was also invited to the reunion, but Jared decided to cancel his ticket and not come to the reunion. And I was so curious to wonder, why did they invite Jared to the reunion in the first place? What purpose did Jared serve this season? Like, I was kind of confused about that, but I was like, okay, if they wanted to invite Jared, then invite him. I mean, he was Britney's storyline, but outside of being Britney's storyline, what else we got? You know what I'm saying? But hey, Bravo wanted him there. He said no. I'm fine with him saying no. I really truly am. Like, I kid you not. I don't have a problem that Jared said no to coming to the reunion. So after that, you guys, we move on, and Bronwyn is saying that Jared has said nasty things about Brittany on social media, and he's also said nasty things about Brittany, not Brittany, but Bronwyn, right? And Bronwyn said he DM'd her, right? And she was like, "Do you want to hear the message?" And Brittany was saying, "I know what he said." And she's like, "Oh, and you're okay with that?" And so Braun was like, "What do you want me to read?" Like, Andy was like, "Well, I don't know what says, so tell me." And Brittany was like, "Do you want me to read the nasty parts or just the whole thing?" And Mary was like, "Read the whole thing, babe." And I was laughing when Mary said, "Read the whole thing, babe." And at one, they did show a tweet of him where he called Bronwyn a tragic little bitch. I was like, "Wow, this is a man calling a woman a tragic little bitch." Okay, Jared, you're. I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again, that Jared is a weirdo. So Bronwyn read the DM from him, and he was reading her up and down. I was like, dude. So let me preface this by saying, so Jared is in his feelings because I guess on the after show, you guys know I didn't watch the after show this season. So on the after show, I guess Bronwyn made made alluded to him potentially having a small penis, and so he felt the way about her saying that. So he decided to jump in her DMs and go off on her. Jared, that is very bitch like. I'm just gonna be real and honest with you. That is a bitch move. Like, you go off on this woman because of that. If your dick ain't little, why do you care that she's on camera saying that your dick is little? Like, I didn't understand that, and I still don't understand it. But okay, Jared, do you? So Andy asked Mary, like, what was he saying in your DMs? And she was like, oh, like I'm a child of God. So basically, with Mary, he was saying positive things. And so Heather was like, well, do you like him, Mary? She was like, yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, I like him, but I don't want him in my DMs. And I'm with you, Mary. Stay out people's DMs, Jared. So then we move on. There was a viewer who asked the question of Brittany: does she think that Jared used her for fame? And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. I mean, granted, he's not like a big name Osmond, but he's part of the Osmond family. So I don't really see how he could be using her for fame. But you know what? You never know. Stranger things have happened, right? But I was kind of confused. I was like, how could he be using her for fame? And Brittany says no, that he didn't use her for fame. She says that, when it comes down to Jared, that he actually was doing her a favor by coming on the show. And so she said he was doing her a favor. But then Andy said, well, he did say that he's the reason that you're on the show. I said, well, I'd be damned. So Jared just really think highly of himself, right? Jared thinks highly of himself. So then she also talks about the fact that Jared love bombs her. I was like, girl, are you that dense? If a man love bombs you, then that's a problem. But whatever, Brittany, you're just a dodo bird. Lovely Mo, how are you doing tonight? You said the way all parts of this reunion could have been one part. I'm hollering. I'm hollering. And I agree with you. Part one, part two, and part three could have been condensed together because honestly, if I'm not mistaken, it really felt like they were repeating some shit. It felt like they were repeating stuff because I was like, I feel like y'all talked about this in another part, especially stuff like with the burn book, with the burn session. Y'all discussed this before, so this really feel like y'all grasping at straws because I agree with you. It could have been on one part. It could have been condensed to two parts. But I mean, for the ad space, they had to make it a 3-part reunion. So we talk about Brittany and her daughters. Now, Brittany, you and your kids. I'm gonna delve deeper into her kids in a minute because I feel a way about you with your kids, and I feel like you really weaponize your kids in your relationship against Bronwyn. And we're gonna talk about that in just a minute. Lovely Mo says yes, and Meredith can be a friend of. You know who else can be a friend of? Whitney. Whitney can be a friend of because we didn't even talk about Whitney this entire reunion. And it made me really sit and think, look at it and say, who has storylines this season? Meredith had a storyline of a bat mitzvah. We touched on that, and we barely touched on that. We didn't even really talk about the bat mitzvah. Andy talked about the fact that Mary trying to find her way in was funny. I don't remember what Heather's storyline is because we didn't talk about Heather in this reunion. Lisa didn't have a storyline. Honestly, neither did Angie. Belle, if you coming in the replay or in the live, I know you love Angie, but I'm really trying to remember what Angie's storyline was this season. I don't remember Angie's storyline, you guys. We know what Mary's storyline was. It was Robert Jr. We know Whitney didn't have a storyline. Bronwyn, her storyline was her daughter, the father of her daughter, all that stuff, her and Todd. But outside of that, what these women talk about this? Now let me say again, this was a good season. It was a chaotic season. But when you really sit back and think about it, these ladies piggybacked off each other for a storyline. I just literally sat there and thought about that. So Andy asked about Brittany's daughters, right? So Brittany says that she is speaking to her daughters and that one of her daughters was there in New York with her. And they showed her picture of her daughter. I didn't realize her kids were grown. Like the daughter that she's talking about is 19 years old. I was like, oh. But Brittany, I mean, I think it's should I say this or should I not say it? Nope, I'm gonna say it. And if anybody, I hope no one gets offended by me saying this about Brittany. But Brittany, you're pathetic. That's the nicest thing I can say about you is you're pathetic as hell. I don't give a fuck how many ways Heather tries to justify the fact that Brittany did not have a relationship with her kids because of a man. Because anyone here's the thing. I'm not a woman. I'll never be a woman, and I can't have kids. I can't have, I can't give birth to kids. But I will never understand a woman that gives birth to kids out of a vagina who will prioritize a man over their children. I just don't understand that. I think that that is just the lowest thing in the fucking world to do. Like you carried them babies for 9 months in your belly. You felt them kicking you. You felt everything with them, and then for them to be born, you prioritize DICK over your kids. Just a little weird to me. That's just a little weird to me. I don't give a fuck how you try to spin it, slice it, none of that shit. It's weird as fuck. It's weird. And I would love to know why my neighbor is upstairs washing at almost 9 o'clock at night. Like, fuck. So Brittany then actually Bronwyn talked about judging Brittany, which girl, you definitely did judge that woman. You definitely did judge that woman profusely. Granted, like I just said, when it comes down to Brittany, I don't see it for Brittany for the fact that, girl, you prioritize men over your kids. Like, that's problematic as fuck. Um, so then Brittany had the audacity to try to blame Brittany for her kids blocking her and ghosting her. But I was like, but your kids weren't taught because she was like, Bronwyn uses people to get things to her kids. And I was like, even if that were true, then here's the thing. Let's just say your kids heard things that Brittany Bronwyn said through the grapevine. Okay, fine. But bitch, sorry, I didn't mean to call her a bitch. Lady, you're the one that said that you didn't have a relationship with your kids. Lady, on top of that, your whole casting slide, you were laughing when you said you didn't have a relationship with your kids. So make the shit make sense. Um, so the reunion is worse than the season? No, the reunion wasn't worse than the season. It could have been condensed because they repeated some things. Hey, Shayna, how you doing? Yes, please like and subscribe, everyone. Brittany is so Brittany is so delusional. I like her though. Keep her as a friend. I agree with you. Brittany is delusional as hell. I'm gonna touch on this because I thought it was hilarious. So you guys know, so when when they were finally done with Brittany, to be honest with you guys, I don't know how long Brittany sat on that stage, but at one point in this reunion, I forgot Brittany was even up there on that stage until Mary said something to her. I forgot Brittany was on the stage, right? But what had me hollering is when they were backstage, when she was backstage, and she's like, I should be on stage for this. Because they instead of them doing a burn session, they said something positive about each other. I should be on the stage with. I should be up there getting. I should be up there. Then when they were getting ready to they were doing their toast to each other. She's like, I should be up there. Something nice should have been said about me. I was like, Brittany, you are a friend of beloved. You are not a housewife. But I definitely do think Brittany should come back as a friend of. She was an interesting friend of, right? But yeah, I just found it odd that Brittany was sitting there trying to blame Bronwyn for the shit with her kids. Also, you guys, sorry, since we're talking about Shayna, let me do this again, which I think I copied. So Shayna is a content creator, you guys. She has a channel as well. She has two channels. Her main channel, it has been demonetized. So she has a backup channel, and let's see if I can find the link to her second channel. So her second channel, is Shayna underscore MCDTV. So if you guys can go over there and subscribe to her channel, it would be greatly it would be appreciated. Let's see if I can find a link to her channel. And I'll actually pin it in the comment section, you guys. So why is YouTube demonetizing content creators? So for Shayna, they're saying that she reused content. So this is her second channel, you guys. Please go subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. So yeah, go subscribe to her, and I am going to pin it in the chat for you guys. Give me a second, you guys. All right. So it's pinned for you guys to see. So definitely go subscribe to her. Great content. If you guys are interested, she does Rated to Love. She does Rated to Love, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Those are shows that I know that currently are on. If you guys watch Family or Fiance on OWN, she does that. What else does Shayna do? Oh, damn, y'all. My bad. That is StreamYard. And I can't. Hold on, you guys. Command copy. Hold on. My bad, you guys. That was StreamYard. Thanks for catching that for me. This is Shayna's channel. There's her channel. So yeah, definitely go subscribe. There we go. So yeah, definitely go subscribe to it. All right, you guys. So it's pinned for you guys. So definitely, again, go subscribe. Again, it's Shayna_MCD TV. If you subscribe, thank you guys so much for subscribing. So yeah, let's get back to Salt Lake City. So where are we at now? We talked about Bronwyn, not Bronwyn, but Brittany. Now we move on to talk about the religious stuff, but we really didn't talk about it a whole heck of a lot. You know, Andy was talking about. Damn it, that is the wrong link. That's her son's channel. Shayna, girl, you got look her, Shayna. I'm gonna have to. It's that's her son's channel. So actually subscribe to her son's channel as well if you guys have kids. I am how did that okay. We're gonna get this together. We're gonna get this together. Is this is it? Jesus the Christ. It is y'all, it's late at night, and I don't typically go live this late. But yeah, also go subscribe to her son. So it wasn't a mistake to do that. But I believe this is her channel. Let me click on it. Yep, that's it. Okay. Whew. It took a minute, but we got there. Oh, and I see she's going live tomorrow for Harlem, you guys. So if you guys watch Harlem, she's going live to discuss Harlem. So go subscribe and go subscribe, you guys. We finally got this one. It took a minute. It took a few tries. So, like I said, so back to the reunion. So we were talking about we got to the point where we talked about the lady, the religious stuff. We briefly discussed Meredith's bat mitzvah. Andy talked about, Mary walking around. She's like, Andy, was a lot of windows and doors. And that was funny. So then we also pivoted back to Heather and calling out not Bronwyn, Brittany on the after show. Again, I don't watch the after show, so I don't know what is said on the after show or what isn't said on the after show. But I guess on the after show, Heather was saying basically when it comes down to Brittany, that Brittany is a contradiction. She didn't say the words contradiction. I did, but that's what Brittany is. It's a contradiction because you guys know that the Mormon faith it's very strict and they want them to abide by certain rules, which again, this is why I say I believe that the Mormon church is a cult. But, it is what it is. So they talked about the fact of, her drinking, but she's still a Mormon. And I'm using air quotes when I say she's still a Mormon, because if you're a Mormon and your religion has these strict, parameters that you can't do things, and you're doing these things, excuse me, and you're doing these things, are you quote unquote a good Mormon or a bad Mormon, right? So Brittany felt the way because Angie told her that she grew up a Mormon, and Brittany was like, I'm not Brittany, but Angie was like, yes, I did grow up a Mormon, and the Mormons that I grew up around are nothing like you. The Mormons that I grew up around are more so like Heather. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm cool with it, right? So then somebody said something. There was a question for Meredith about the fact that Angie never called Brittany a slut, right? It was more so the fact that she said the word slut and Angie repeated it. And so, and Meredith's like, yeah, you didn't even you didn't even hear her say it. And Meredith was like, well, we were at your house and she said some things about me. And so then Brittany was upset and came and said something to me. So basically, Meredith just went off of, well, if she said something about me at your house, and, she then comes back and says something to Brittany. So Meredith went off the fact of, she said something about me. I believe she said something about her as well. So that's where it went, right? So after that, Bronwyn said to Brittany that, you say things, but then when people repeat it back to you, you don't like it when it's repeated back to you. And I was like, that's a point. That's a good point right there. So Andy asked Brittany, how did she feel when she revealed to the girls that she and Jared were in a sexual relationship? I mean, did anybody think that they weren't? I'm so confused. Did anybody think that they were not in a sexual relationship? But I mean, okay, if y'all believe that that girl was not having sex with that man at the time, then I don't know what to tell you. Because I definitely believe that they were, getting physical. I want to get physical. Like I definitely believe that I believe that they were physical for a very long time. But okay, I mean, I guess if this is what we want to talk about, then this is what we can talk about. Um, but she said it felt good for her to say it, and I'm with Mary. Mary's whole thing was, why do we need to know that? That wasn't the whole conversation. We were talking about the fact that you recorded us, right? And she's like, the reason why she said what she said is to basically show good faith to the women. And I was like, huh? I was like, okay, girl, whatever. So then we talked about Bronwyn and her getting attacked by the dog. I don't want to talk about that because that, just seeing them bite marks is like, oh God. I'm glad she's okay. Now she said she did not sue the person who the dog she didn't sue the person, and she actually helped out with the dog, right? You're a better person than I ever could be, Bronwyn, because I would have. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I love dogs. I love me some dogs, but I absolutely would have sued the hell out of that person. Like the dog attacked me, like you left the dog in there, and then the dog attacks me. Nah, you gonna get sued, beloved. Like I'm gonna sue you. I would have sued that person, but hey, again, like I said, Bronwyn is a better person than I could be. Because I'm sorry, no way. No way in hell. Especially the way that that dog tore her up. It's like that dog didn't want to let her loose. Like it's like that dog did not want to let that woman loose. So after that, where do we move on to? So the next thing we talked about is Whitney and the fact that Whitney said that Lisa returns clothes. So Andy asked Whitney, where did she get that information from, right? So Whitney says that she got it from someone at Nordstrom's. And Lisa's like, oh my God, Whitney, I do not shop at Nordstrom's. I do not shop at Nordstrom's. You can see my Amex bill. I was like, girl, it ain't that fucking deep. Like, girl, you putting, again, Lisa, you're putting 20 on 10. Because, girl, nobody really cares about this but you. But okay, if that's how you feel, whatever, right? So then Andy asked Lisa, like, when Angie said that she knows more about Bronwyn than she does about you, why did you then storm out? So Lisa is this is the point where Lisa began to annoy me because then Lisa this is where Lisa became the perpetual victim. I was like, oh my God, girl. If you don't sit that ass, well, you already sitting down, but if you don't shut up, like Lisa was irritating me and annoying me to no avail, right? Now she did say that when it came down to it, she was trying to broker peace between Lisa, Meredith, and Angie. And Angie's like, but she went to school for it. She's an attorney. She's a lawyer. She went to school for this. Like she could easily sit me down. I'm just a fucking beauty school student. She can sit me down and have a conversation with me, right? And she's like, I just wanted you and Meredith to have some kind of resolve. And this again, this is the point where, like I said, Lisa is making herself the victim. Lisa started crying. I was like, okay, what the hell is going on here? Because she feels like Angie should know her. I was like, okay, whatever, girl. Moving on. So we then move on to Brittany. So I think it was a viewer question who asked about the throwing up thing, or maybe it was Andy. But we brought up Meredith allegedly throwing up, right? And why come Brittany didn't go to Meredith and ask Meredith? Meredith said she did come to me and I told her she was wrong, but then she went and told the other girls, right? And so Meredith is telling her, you're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. I'm done with this. I'm done with you. You're a liar. And I was like, Meredith, you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. Now, I don't agree with Brittany asking Meredith if she was throwing up and then going and Meredith tells her she wasn't. And then you go and tell the other women she was throwing up. Like that's childish. Now, Meredith, back to you. Because you did say that, it was like you were choking. So, I mean, you can't, you can cough and go, you can do stuff like that, right? And it could sound like you are throwing up. So, the way Meredith is talking about it, she's acting like it's the end of the world. Now, to Brittany's defense, Brittany didn't insinuate that you had an eating disorder. So I think thou does protest too much. It's just how I kind of take it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, y'all tell me what you think about that. So after that, excuse me, I got hiccups now. I'm trying to pretend like I was coughing. Mary was laughing at them while they were arguing the entire time, right? And then we move on to Brittany and this recording. Now, Brittany was telling part of the truth because Brittany did say she was recording the seat and she realized she was recording the back of the seat and then she flipped the camera. But those inconsistent stories that she was telling, she was like excuses because they were like, those were excuses. And actually, Andy asked, did anybody believe the excuses that she was saying? And she's like, excuses. Like, girl, those were excuses. Like, stop playing, Brittany. Stop playing. But production, she just said, well, I don't want to do this, but I'm blaming editing. And Andy was like, they can't edit it to be longer than what it was. But they did show a clip where she did have the camera facing her at one point. She did have it flipped on the back of the seat, but then she did flip it back on herself. So she was telling the truth. And so then they talk about the fact that, the reason why they flipped out so much is because they were traumatized about what happened last season with Monica, right? And, she was like, well, I was traumatized too. And, Mary is like, well, get over it. It's done. And hopefully you're done after this. I was like, well, Mary really does not see it for old Brittany. Like, Mary don't see it for Brittany. And I'm honestly not upset about it, right? So then we move on, and Andy asks Mary, like, why did you get so upset with Angie when she went after Brittany, right? And she said that, she felt like it was fake of Angie, right? Baby, she also told Brittany what she really thinks about her. And I was like, you know what, Mary? Again, I don't have a problem with you telling Brittany how you feel about her, because some of the things that, because she says she's not, she's not mature. Basically you're not mature, you're inconsistent, like everything that Mary said about Brittany are sentiments that they're sentiments of mine. Because Brittany, you know, as much as I do like Brittany on the show as a friend of, I have to agree with Mary. Like there's a lot of stuff to not like about Brittany. What's the issue between Mary and Brittany? Uh I think it was her approach towards. I think it was the way she came towards Mary this season. The fact that Mary said, she implied that Mary was broke, family was broke growing up. The fact that she implied that Mary was a hoarder. Well, Mary, you are a hoarder. We saw your room. So we also found out from Meredith through Andy that Jen Shaw called her, and I was with Whitney. So it was bad for me to call Monica, but you can have a conversation with Jen. Make that make sense. And so Meredith's like, well, I didn't seek her out for ammunition against my friends. I was like, okay, I'll give you half of a point for that one. And she's like, Jen is paying her restitution. She's serving her time, and she took accountability. I said, pump the brakes on that one, Meredith. That lady never took accountability. She only took accountability in the last hours before she got sentenced. Well, before her trial. Like, she went all of season 2 saying she was innocent. She went season 2 saying she was innocent. She came to the reunion saying she was innocent. And then, which I didn't watch season 3, but season 3, she told you guys profusely she was innocent. So, and she didn't wait until the season finale, which it was almost time for her trial, to then own up and say she did what she did. So, when has Jen Shaw ever taken accountability? Whitney said that woman traumatized us, and I believe that because that woman was a terror. So I'm so confused with y'all when it comes to this whole shit with Jen. Like, I'm still so confused. These women will take Jen back over. These women will take Jen back over Monica. Monica had a Stan account that trolled the fuck out of y'all. Jen Shaw and Mary even said that. But Meredith's like, well, it was only like a 10-minute call. Girl, I don't give a fuck if it was a 5-second call. The minute I hear Jen Shaw's name, I would have disconnected that phone immediately, right? Because even Mary said, like, I would never accept a phone call from Jen Shaw. I'm glad you wouldn't. And you shouldn't, right? Because Mary even said, like, Meredith, she blamed me and you for this, which I remember that she did try to blame Mary and Meredith for the stuff that was going on with her, trying to say that they probably were the ones that called the feds on her. No, ma'am. The feds were watching this show, and they saw you living that lavish lifestyle, and they had all the ammunition that they needed against you. So, Jen, go sit in your jail cell and leave us the fuck alone, right? And then Meredith, she's talked about y'all's families. Like, I don't, again, that woman has done so much shit to y'all. Like, she's talked about y'all's families, and y'all, no, there would never be anything to repair with Jen Shaw. Nothing. So at one point, excuse me, y'all, She said that she forgives Jim, baby. You're better than me. Because I would never forgive that lady, right? So Angie talks about being kicked out of Meredith's bat mitzvah. And Meredith's like, but I apologize to you. Because Meredith said, can you take any kind of accountability? And she said, I apologize. And so she asked Angie, did she apologize to you? She said she did. She said, well, you need to accept the apology and move on. Because Mary said that Angie holds grudges. And I absolutely believe that she holds grudges. I can see that, right? So to wrap up part 3 of the reunion, you guys, they talked about actually Andy asked Meredith a question about how she, about why she felt the way about Mary saying that they weren't friendly, and she said, "Are you sure it was me?" And he was like, "Yeah." And they showed the clip where she and Mary even said, "Yeah, when I said that you guys were not friendly, you said me, including me, Mary," and Mary said yes. So Brittany tried to chime in, and Mary's like, "Girl, will you please? I'm not talking to you. Please stop talking. I am not talking to you." I was like, Mary does not like this lady. So we bring up the burn session one more time, and I'm gonna sum it up because it was a whole lot of back and forth with Lisa and Whitney. Because Whitney was like, I want to burn this with Lisa fucking Barlow. And I was like, oh my God, girl, the theatrics. Andy wanted them to shut up at one point. He was over it, and I was over it too. But I'm gonna sum it up because Lisa did make herself out to be a victim again. I was like, girl, here you go with this victimhood shit. But suffice it to say, they were able to move forward and move on. And that was it for those two. So yeah, you guys. And then after that, she fake cried. Meredith did try to chime in to help out the situation. And so that was really it, you guys. Now they did go around and they said positive things about one another after the reunion. They said positive things about each other, and they took a shot, you guys, at the end of it. And that was part 3 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion, you guys. So you guys, please let me know what you guys thought about part 3 of the reunion, and I will catch you guys in the next live, you guys. So I'm gonna set it up a little bit later, and it's gonna be for the Real House. Not Real Housewives. It's going to be for the Traders, you guys. So yeah, as always, you guys, please stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, you guys, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.